Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I thought I would start out this video with just a couple of things that I've been either reading or doing that just brought a little bit of peace to my life. So starting out is this little light novel book called Maiden of the Needle. It's about this girl named Yui that gets isekai'd essentially into a world where she has these, overpowered protagonist shenanigans going on, and she's really good at sewing and doing this thing called bless weaving in their world, which is like the magic system there. But it's just a little cozy read with fairies and magic. Content warning, there's spiders in there too, so if you don't like that, it might not be for you. But another thing that I did is me and my partner went down to Boston to see a little metal concert festival. There were 4 bands there. There was Nini, Trollfest, and Sephirum and Korpiklani. I had never listened to any of them before I went, and I left as a fan of all of them and bought some patches because I want to make something cool with it. Oh, and the big thing I have been waiting for over a year for to finally release is Monster Hunter Wilds. I've been playing these games ever since Worlds came out, so super excited to see another console one, for like PS5, Xbox. But I really want to do a video drawing my character and my companions just because the customization in it is really awesome and I really like how she came out. But anyway, to get into the video, today I'm drawing a character from the Fate series called Karna. He's my favorite. I love him. He's my sweet little boy. Must be protected at all costs. So I'm using inks today as like an underpainting. So I'm using the Rohrer Klinger inks that I got in my Hey Color box a couple years ago, and this Bombay Dr. P.H. Martin's ink. I was inspired to do this kind of painting process. It's the same one I used for the portraits on the left by an artist on YouTube called Kaiteki Arts. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She did a recent video where she's painting a white-haired boy with a snake, and she kind of talks through her process, and she did like a underpainting essentially with inks and then used some watercolor glazes on top and then some gouache, and I really liked the effect and how it came out. So I wanted to give it a try. So essentially I made like a really light skin tony kind of color and used that to do like the line work just to keep it nice and soft and just kind of give me some like guiding lines for it. Though spoiler alert, later I end up not liking it as much, and off camera I added some really dark lines, so it kind of negates this process, but I just got frustrated with it, which kind of looking back it wasn't as bad as I initially thought it was. But anyway, essentially I mixed up a skin tone color with, red, yellow, and then a little tiny bit of blue, and then I'll mix my warm, like my highlighty kind of like blush colors to go like on the nose, the ears, the lips, collarbones, just anywhere where there's a lot of blood vessels that are kind of near the surface of the skin to highlight. And then using that the skin tone color kind of mixed with some blue just to do my shadows and stuff. For the hair, I kind of made my own separate colors for that just because it's supposed to be white, so I didn't want it to have too much of the skin color in it. But essentially the process for it is kind of like drawing the line art and then taking a wet brush and kind of blending it out a little bit just to help keep it soft to start with, and then just kind of slowly building a couple layers with the shadows and skin colors and stuff, but just keeping everything really soft and smooth. And I think it's a really fun process to do with the inks just because they're waterproof once they're dry, so then it's nice to just kind of go over with the watercolors just to add, like glazes of color and not worry about messing with the underpainting too much. I really struggled with his nose and kind of his lips, and I think I just don't draw enough where the character's looking up towards the sky, so I think it kind of messed with me, like the proper proportions and like curves of the lines and stuff. So right here I think it looks fine, but later on when I do some more coloring I end up going over it, painting over it a bunch of times with gouache and using like white gouache to erase it. It was just a little bit of a headache. But Karna is just one of my favorite characters from Fate. I just really like his character design and just kind of him as a character. I'm not like a huge, like super into it Fate fan. Like I don't play a Fate Grand Order or anything like that because that's just, there's so much to it. I've just watched most of the anime shows and I've played the Fate Extella games that are on PS4. But I think Fate Apocrypha is it's controversial, but it's my favorite of the anime series. Though I can attest that, I mean, Fate Zero is probably the best written one of all of them, but I just really like Fate Apocrypha's lineup of heroic spirits that it has. So there's my man Siegfried, who I really liked when I first met him. You know, there's the tension between Achilles and Chiron being on opposite sides. There's Mordred, whose backstory I kind of wish we got a little more focus on her, because that storyline was really interesting with her and her master, and they kind of had a really nice little wholesome connection, and I like that. But yeah, he just, you know, he just wants to do his best. And it makes me sad that he ends up dying the way he does, but it's kind of like, you know, it's how the Holy Grail war goes. Everybody except for one has to die, so it's usually all in vain because some philosophical plight of humanity, insert generic thing. But he has one of those just quotes that kind of always stuck with me, and it's so cringe, but it was just like, I don't know, I wasn't in a really happy place when I watched it for the first time, and it just kind of, I don't know, made me think. It made me, well, I'll just read the quote so you kind of get what I'm talking about. After he passes, or he's like about to die, he gets defeated in battle against Sieg, our main man, somehow. He says, "That is to be expected of a heroic spirit. For you see, we are merely shadows of times long past. People like you who live in this time are treasures to heroic spirits. Everything we fought for was for the sake of the future." And I don't know, you know? As a depressed teenager, it just kind of stuck with me. I was like, so there is a purpose. There is a purpose for existence. And I could feel a little better thinking about, you know, that. I don't know. Like I said, it's cringe. But it just always stuck with me. I didn't mean to have the footage cut. I think I lost some of it. I was essentially just took the blue ink and filled in his suit and then used some of the yellow just to kind of show where the light was gonna hit off from his arms and stuff. And then now I'm just taking my big hockey brush just to kind of wet the background, because he has this like cloak behind him that's red. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's kind of like this amorphous blob that kind of changes and moves, kind of like smoke behind him. So I was really excited to use like the ink just to kind of make some textures and stuff with that and see how that worked. I wish I'd put a little more thought into the shape of it, because I feel like that could have helped the composition a lot. But I'm not upset with how it came out. I just think for future reference, maybe think about my shapes a little more. I think the hardest part with wet media is you just struggle so long through like the ugly phase, because I feel like you obviously spend the most time with your like midtones and getting those down right, and I just feel like staring at that for such a long time, sometimes it's hard to be like, it'll be okay once you get to do like the shadows and the really dark parts and add contrast. I really like how his skin on like his chest and his stomach came out. I like how there's kind of, I don't know if you can really see it that easily in the video, just because I record these with my camera, so it's not like the best camera ever. The camera on my phone. That was really hard to say. But as I was saying, I like how the skin on his stomach turned out, because the skin into the blue of the shadow kind of have the same value, so it's like two colors in one kind of subsection of the painting. And now I'm moving on to using watercolors, just to add like a darker glaze over to really darken up his suit, just because it's supposed to be pitch black. Using the watercolors, you know, allows the ink underneath to kind of still breathe through, which is what I really liked, and that was kind of my goal, so I'm really happy that worked out. It's not like, you know, completely covering it, it's still allowing all that hard work I put in underneath to still show through, which is nice. I think the other big thing that I really didn't like about this, so I know I'm talking really negatively, but it's like I'm watching back the footage while I'm voice recording, so I'm like looking at it again, and like I know how it turns out and stuff, so I think the pose is just a little awkward. Like just how where his arm reaching up cuts off is like right exactly where his wrist should start, but you can't see any of his hands, so it just makes the arm look abnormally long, which again is obviously my own fault. I've just been drawing a lot of like ballet poses just to kind of do warm-ups, because I'm trying to, you know, draw more full body stuff, just because I can't, as much as I want to, I can't draw portraits all the dang time, which is sad, but so true. I have to try and, you know, expand and improve my art skills, because I really enjoy it, and I would like to, you know, do it a lot more. Yeah, this is just a pose from like a ballet thing that I saw. I probably found it on Pinterest. I'm trying really hard not to use Pinterest because I know it's like full of AI and stuff, but it's just so easy to like search something on there. And like I do try and, you know, keep an eye out for AI stuff, obviously. I think another good website for what's it called? Figure drawing? Yes, figure drawing is Line of Action. You can set up a whole study session with it. That's what I used to do a lot. So I did the shadows in the hair a lot darker than I wanted them to be, just because I knew I was gonna do this step and go over everything with the white gouache, just to add back in, you know, the white and stuff. But again, as you're about to see, I wasn't like super happy with how it looked. I don't think there was enough contrast between him and like his cloak in the background, so I wish I could go back and fix that, but that's why, as you can see right now, I did the line art. So now I'm gonna add some gold leaf with these two glitter, it's called gold flakes, so I don't think they're glitters necessarily, and then this soft gel gloss. I only bought this because this is what Kaiteki Arts used in her video. Well, I think she used a Turner brand one, but it was a soft gel acrylic medium thing. It's just basically like collage glue. I don't know. I feel like I could have probably used Mod Podge, but I was at Michael's. I had some rewards to use, so I didn't mind buying it. So my initial plan was to do the gold leaf over the whole thing, but it took a very long time, and as you'll see, it didn't come out very well at first. So I probably shouldn't have been using my fingers to press it down in. I end up using some wax paper later on that kind of helps push it down in a little bit better. This initial time, I think I wasn't using enough of the glue. I was letting it dry too long before putting the foil on top of it, unfortunately. And then I think when I was pressing it down, it was pushing out the glue, so it's not like the most crisp line. I don't know, this was my first attempt, don't judge me too hard. I definitely want to try again because I really like the effect. But yeah, this is basically just a, you know, me slowly figuring out what works and doesn't work. So after using my finger, I used the flat end of this Holbein brush that I think you're supposed to use it to like peel off masking fluid is what it's really good for. But it did kind of work. It definitely worked better than my finger. For his chest jewels, which I feel really dirty saying, but that's what it is. Yeah, here we go. See, using the wax paper just really flattened it out very nicely. My initial plan was to gold leaf everything, but I didn't. Just because I feel like it would have, I don't know how to deal with it with like how there's supposed to be those delineation lines for like the spikes and stuff. I don't know, I was scared I'd mess it up even more. And then his collar, obviously I was scared because it's really thin and I didn't want it to go too far out of the lines, and I wasn't really dissatisfied with how it looked without the gold. Like, the gold definitely would have made it pop a little more, but you know what, it is what it is. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever done this. I don't know if using actual gold leaf would have worked any better. It was just, you know, this was the cheaper way just to kind of try it out and see how I liked it. Yeah, so I tried a couple more times with some layers on this arm, but it does not come out very clean. And I wanted to add something for his red jewel on his chest, so I picked out some like reddish colored flakes from the rainbow one and attached those, and they're not as like bright and shiny as the, you know, the gold obviously, but they still add something and I like it. And disclaimer, this is a very, very messy process, so hopefully you have like a desk vacuumer. You're definitely gonna have to vacuum like your carpet or flooring afterwards. But anyway, here are the finished pieces. I'm sad I didn't film the progress for this stuff on the left. For the stuff on the left, I also used a folk art dragonfly glaze, which is like the shimmery stuff in the red that you see that I really like and definitely want to use that more. And then on the right, I don't think the lines like made it look that bad, but I definitely wish it was a lot more softer like the stuff on the left. Here's how the gold leaf turned out. Like I said, not perfect, but it's nice. I like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. And I already have the idea for the next one. Like I said, I want to do my Monster Hunter character. And I just want to say thank you for all the love of my last video. I never expected it to get more than a couple likes or views, so that was really nice. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!